There's a saying that everything is bigger in Texas. Well, at the same time, everything in Australia is more dangerous, especially in the wild, since this is home to a vast number of deadly creatures. Australia ranks third in the world for the number of venomous species, but if we only consider deadly venomous creatures, it's unrivaled. It's also home to 20 of the 25 most dangerous snakes in the world, including the entire top 11. It even hosts one of the few birds known to have occasionally killed humans, the cassowary. Meanwhile, there are nightmarish animals like saltwater crocodiles, great white sharks, venomous spiders, and jellyfish. And in case you need more proof that Australia is truly a land of terror, it's also home to some of the world's largest insects, one of the few places where pine cones can threaten your life, and has seen 3 of the largest wildfires of the 21st century. Given all that, it might be hard to believe that Australia is actually much tamer now than it used to be. And I'm not just talking about the time when dinosaurs roamed, but also about giant monitor lizards and terrestrial crocodiles. Just 2 small examples. Surprisingly, you don't even need to go that far back to witness this terrifying continent at its peak chaos, about 50,000 years ago, right around when humans first arrived. Back then, it wasn't mammals but reptiles that dominated Australia, and it wouldn't take long for anyone stepping onto the continent to realize something was very wrong. Among the nightmare creatures wandering about was a genus of land-dwelling crocodiles, not crocodile-like reptiles, but actual crocodiles that ran freely on land. These creatures were known as quinkana, apex predators of the Pleistocene. While they shared traits with modern crocodiles, their bizarre skull structure has led paleontologists to reclassify them as part of the now extinct Mekosuchini. They also had unusually long limbs for a crocodile, allowing them to stand higher off the ground and possibly even gallop. They had hoof-like toes and a flat tail, not built for swimming, confirming they were true land predators. Unfortunately, they weren't small. Most adult specimens were around 3 meters long and weighed 200 kilograms, about the size of a medium American crocodile. But some were much bigger, with one specimen measuring 6 meters, easily capable of taking down mammals, possibly even unlucky early humans. Their teeth were designed to slice cleanly through flesh, like a 5-star chef's blade, with each tooth shaped like a thin, serrated dagger. This type of tooth, called xiphodont, is commonly seen in theropod dinosaurs. With such weaponry, quinkana could take down prey much larger than itself, and you probably couldn't escape by jumping into water. Some evidence suggests they were strong swimmers, despite spending most of their lives on land. But even these terrifying terrestrial crocodiles weren't safe in prehistoric Australia, because at the time, the largest 4-legged lizard known to science also roamed the land, Megalania. You've probably heard of it, especially due to its recent surge in popularity, but you might not know that it's no longer officially called Megalania. The proper name is Varanus priscus, confirming it as a giant member of the monitor lizard family. Despite the name change, it's still commonly referred to as Megalania, which translates to Great Roamer, a fitting title. Paleontologists disagree on the exact size, but estimates say it was at least 3.5 meters long and weighed around 158 kilograms, about the length of a sea lion and the weight of a reindeer. At maximum estimates, though, things get crazier. Fragmented remains suggest some individuals may have reached 7.9 meters in length, longer than the longest known anaconda, but over 8.5 times heavier, with a maximum mass of 2 tons. On average, large Megalania specimens likely weighed around 575 kilograms, and they weren't just big, they were dangerous. Like modern monitor lizards, Megalania had sharp, backward curved teeth for gripping prey. It's also believed they had strong limbs and sharp claws to overpower both prey and rivals. Of course, being an Australian predator, Megalania may have been venomous. All modern monitors are considered venomous, with venom acting like an anticoagulant, causing shock and infection by keeping wounds open. Given their close relation to the Komodo dragon, some scientists believe they used similar tactics: bite, retreat, and let the venom do its work. So, even if you manage to escape a Megalania attack, you might still face a tragic end. All these traits make Megalania one of the worst animals you could encounter. Unless you have ophidiophobia, a fear of snakes. In that case, your worst nightmare would be Wonambi. Wonambi might not sound scary, but it belonged to a group of extinct giant snakes called Matsoidae. These were different from any living snakes today, with primitive jaws that were less flexible, but extremely large. Wonambi didn't reach the lengths of today's longest snakes, but made up for it with mass. Large specimens reached 6 meters, like a big python. Luckily, Wonambi wasn't venomous, but its size made it incredibly dangerous. It likely hunted like modern pythons, ambushing prey near water and killing by constriction, cutting off blood to the brain and heart. But because of their rigid skulls, Wonambi couldn't swallow prey whole. That sounds like good news, until you realize that they instead ripped prey apart using strong jaws and sharp teeth. In some cases, they may have torn out organs piece by piece. This gruesome end may have been more common than you'd expect. Modern studies show that attacks from large snakes are still a cause of death among some remote groups. You might be wondering how any mammals survived alongside so many reptilian horrors. The answer? They were terrifying too. Take Thylacoleo, the largest mammalian predator ever to live in Australia. Most were the size of wild boars, but the biggest matched female lions or tigers. Despite sharing features with big cats, Thylacoleo was not related to them. It was a marsupial, related more closely to the koala. And like koalas, it likely had a small brain. But in this case, that was an advantage. A smaller brain allowed more space for powerful jaw muscles. Its skull and jaw structure allowed it to bite with the strongest force. Relative to body size of any known mammal, a mid-sized Thylacoleo could bite as hard as a lion, 2.5 times its size, enough to take down prey 15 times heavier than itself. It did this with a unique set of teeth, massive incisors like fangs and huge premolars like blades. These could stab deeply into muscle while slicing through spinal cords and arteries, killing prey in under a minute. For comparison, African lions might take 15 minutes to do the same. If that wasn't enough, Thylacoleo also had deadly retractable claws, like giant hooked knives on opposable thumbs. These likely helped them climb, drag carcasses into trees like leopards, and move through caves and rugged terrain. This marsupial was already incredibly powerful, and now terrifyingly versatile. Clearly, life was chaotic for the first humans who arrived in Australia, and they didn't even find peace among herbivores, since many of those were equally fearsome. Take Diprotodon, a massive, extinct marsupial related to modern wombats. Unlike its relatives, Diprotodon could weigh up to 3.85 tons, like an adult Asian elephant. That size gave it powerful defenses and made it difficult to hunt. Adding to the challenge, it had incredibly strong jaws, capable of biting with up to 11,000 newtons, enough to shatter a human femur. Even the birds were gigantic, One example is the genus Genyornis, an ancient bird that looked like an emu but belonged to a separate group known as Dromornithidae, nicknamed thunderbirds. Though herbivorous, Genyornis stood taller than a human, averaging 2 meters in height, and could weigh up to 250 kilograms. Its powerful beak and sharp claws could still ward off predators. So, prehistoric Australia wasn't exactly a dream vacation spot. And remember, most of the dangerous animals we know today were already there at that time, alongside even more now extinct terrors like giant turtles and Palomnarchus, another crocodilian. And if the animals weren't enough, Mother Nature added droughts and heat. Yet humans not only survived, but thrived. Evidence shows they hunted many of the giant creatures mentioned in this video, proving that maybe we were the scariest animals of all.